Yo, yo. Today's encouragement is you can't outperform your self-image. You can't outperform your self-image. This comes from, this concept is probably comes from a lot of places, but where the place that I got it was from a guy named Lanny Basham. He's written 2 books that I'm aware of. One's called With Winning in Mind, and one is called Parenting Champions. They're both great books. Highly recommend both of them. But in his writing, he says you can't outperform your self-image, and the concept is that we see ourselves a certain way, and whether we articulate this or not, we see ourselves with a floor and a ceiling in terms of how we behave and what we can achieve and who we are. So on the on the floor, if we start to behave or perform in a way that is outside of our current frame of our self-image, meaning we're doing worse or less or not as good as how we see ourselves, then we will adjust. We, generally speaking, we won't sort of waller and stay and remain and be bad for an extended period of time. We know we can do better. We'll come back to what might happen if we do stay in that position. But generally speaking, we know we can do better, so we make some adjustments and we sort of come back to some form of equilibrium. On the other side, if we outperform how we see ourselves, our self-image, if we give a great speech or make a great achievement or perform really well in a game or at work, and it's greater than how we see ourselves, then we'll do the same. We will come back to equilibrium. Sometimes that's out of self-sabotage. Sometimes that some people call it imposter syndrome. So we start to tell ourselves that's the language that Lanny Basham uses is that's like me. It's like me to do A, B, or C. So we'll tell ourselves that's not like me. That was a fluke. I don't know how that happened. We will talk ourselves back into, being back in the box of our self-image, how we see ourselves, the place that we're comfortable in terms of how we think we are capable of behaving or achieving. It makes a lot of sense to me. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or even a counselor, but it makes a lot of sense to me. And I see it a lot, and I see it in myself. I see it in the people that I work with. Can't outperform your self-image. What then can we do? Here's one thing. Basham calls them imprints. Everything there's probably a number that we can't even, these things are probably happening so often, but these imprints, everything that we say to ourselves before and during and after a performance, everything that we say to ourselves when we're picking ourselves up off the proverbial floor of our self-image, or when we are talking ourselves back down, which is what we tend to do. These are all imprints. In other words, we are leaving sticky notes in our brain for our beliefs to support our self-image. I knew you couldn't do that, or that was a fluke, or you're better than that. This is not who we are, which can work on both sides. So we're always leaving these imprints. We're leaving them when we journal. We're leaving them when we make mental note. We're leaving them when we verbalize things. So if we want to change our self-image, we can change or improve the imprints that we're leaving. We can do this through our journaling. We can do this through modifying our self-talk. And I know that may sound woo-woo to some of you, but you're having thoughts, you're communicating with yourself one way or the other, and we can change how that goes. We can let the first thought go through, and then we can choose a new thought. We can let the first, communication that we're having with ourselves, the self-talk, and we can choose a new one. But if we want to change our self-image, we improve or we change our imprints so that we start to see some shift and we increase and we quit bumping our head up against the ceiling that we think we can't be better than that. And our floor becomes higher as well. So my encouragement to you is pay attention to your imprints. Pay attention to your imprints and change your self-image. All right, as always, I'm pulling for you. Look forward to talking to you next time.